So now, everyone, we are going to learn about the past continuous, which is also known as past progressive. And it is a verb tense which is used to show that an ongoing past action happened at a specific moment in time, but was interrupted by something else. Okay, guys, you guys need to mute your mics because I can hear myself. By the way, is it doing the same thing it was doing before? Yes? No?
No,
Oh,
it
no.
sound different. I think it's older.
Okay, someone's mic is on, and if you can please mute it, that would be great. Because, okay, thank you. But do show me that, just someone do a thumbs up if the sound is good. Are we good on the sound? Okay. One more time for the love of God. Okay. So again, we're talking about past continuous, and past continuous is almost the same as present continuous. It's also known as past progressive, by the way, but it's almost the same, except that action stopped because of something else. So for example, I was walking to class when I saw Tommy and I said hi. So I would have continued walking if I didn't see Tommy. So something interrupted. All right. So it's either that or two ongoing actions were happening at the same time. Okay. So how do we form it? Just like in the simple present, we need the verb to be plus the base form of the verb plus ing. Here we also need that, but we need the past tense of the verb to be plus the simple plus the base form of the verb plus ing. So we have past of to be plus base form of the verb plus ing. Okay. So I was eating an apple. She was walking down the street. We were playing together. They were happy. Okay. So here we have the past tense of to be plus the base form of the verb to eat plus ing ending. Okay. Then we have, again, she was the past tense of to be. Walk is the base form of to walk. And then ing ending. Cool? We were past tense of to be. Play is the base form of the verb to play, and then the ing ending, always the same. Cool? All right. So
Yes.
if we were saying a statement, it would be you were studying when she called. If we're forming a question, same as in simple present continuous, we just move the verb to be before the subject. Okay. So we were you studying when she called? And then negative, you were not studying when she called. And again, we put the not between the verb to be and the verb with ing. So we have, and when we have a question is, was I eating an apple? Okay. I was not eating an apple. Was she walking down the street? She was not walking down the street. Okay. Were we playing together? We were not playing together. So again, we move in the question, we move the verb to be to the beginning of the sentence. Okay. In the negative, we move. Okay, in the negative, we move the not, or we put the not in the middle or between the verb to be and the ing ending. Okay. Someone has their mic unmuted, so if you can please mute your mic, that would be great. Thank you. Okay. Does everyone hear me well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So then we're now moving on to how we use it. So the idea was that an action was happening in the past, but it was interrupted. So here, this is the idea was to finish here in time, but they couldn't, so it ended here. So use the past continuous to indicate that a longer action in the past was interrupted. So something stopped that action from continuing. The interruption is usually a shorter action in the simple past. So that interruption, for example, I was walking to school when I saw Jack. Was walking is in present continuous. Saw is in simple past. Okay, so when there's an interruption, it's usually a shorter action in the simple past. I was watching TV when she called. Present progressive, past progressive, simple past. When the phone rang, right? This is the simple. Okay. I was writing a letter. It was interrupted by something short, and it's in simple past. While we were having a picnic, okay, it started to rain. What were you doing? Okay, see, were and doing when the earthquake started. Okay, simple past here. Past progressive on this one. I was listening to my iPad, so I didn't hear the fire alarm. You were not listening to me when I told you to turn off the oven. While John was sleeping last night, someone else stole his car. Sammy was waiting for us when we got off the plane. While I was sitting in the mail, the computer suddenly went off. Or sorry, when I was writing the email, the computer suddenly went off. What were you doing when you broke your leg? I was snowboarding. So you see it every time there is an action that's happening, and it's the idea is for that action to continue. So in the first example, I was watching TV. If she didn't call, I would have continued to watch TV. So that action would have continued from here on over, but something stopped it, like the phone call. Okay, the phone rang when I was writing a letter. I would have continued, but the phone rang. Any questions? Perfect. Okay, so another thing is specific time as an interruption. Okay, so in the first one, we use the past continuous to interrupted by a shorter action in simple past. However, a specific time can also be used as an interruption. So time can also stop it. Last night at 6, I was eating dinner. So we're giving it as a specific time what we were doing. Does that make sense? So that was something happening at that specific time. All right. Explaining a certain action that would have continued past 6. At midnight, we were still driving through the desert. Okay, Yesterday at this time, I was sitting at my desk. This morning at 8, I was riding on the train. Okay. This morning at 8, I was riding on the train. Okay. So it would have continued, but like the interruption is set by the time. It's almost as if you're using the time as an indicator to describe what you were doing. Does that make sense? So although it's over in the past, you're still using, it's not simple past. You're using that time as a way to describe what was happening at that time. Okay. So in simple past, a specific time is used to show when an action began and finished. In present continuous, a specific time only interrupts the action. Cool? Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so our examples, last night at 6, I ate dinner, which means that I started eating at 6. That's basically what it is. However, last night at 6, I was eating dinner. It means that the time almost interrupted the action. Does that make sense? Maybe, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, then
Yes.
let's continue. So it can also be used to show two actions that were happening at the same time, and that's called a parallel action. See the lines? They're called parallels. Okay. When you use the past continuous with two actions in the same sentence, it expresses the idea that both actions were happening at the same time and not one after the other. So earlier we said, or in the other video, we said, I walked to school, then I climbed the stairs. Okay, so one after the other. In this case, both were happening at the same time. I was eating dinner, I was studying while he was making dinner. Okay, same thing, same two actions at the same time. While Ellen was reading, Tim was watching television. Were you listening while he was talking? I wasn't paying attention while I was writing the letter, so I made several mistakes. You see, in all of them, these actions were happening at the same time. And a lot of times we use while to show that, okay? What were you doing while you were waiting? Thomas wasn't working and I wasn't working either, two happening at the same time. They were eating dinner, discussing their plans, and having a good time. All three of them at the same time. Okay. And we're not going to worry about these. These will come at later lessons. Cool. Any questions on past continuous?
No.
No.
Perfect.